There are certain diseases that we think are today's diseases. They are caused by our lifestyles. Yes, they are caused by our lifestyle, no doubt about that. But they have been in existence from a long time, and they do find a way, they do find a mention in our classical texts. One such disease that one needs to be very careful about, because it sounds like just a small word, diabetes, but it has a larger connotation. Diabetes can lead to a number of other diseases which can, on a long run, be fatal. Diabetes can give you ill health, and it can slowly shut down your organs. It can also have a lasting impact on your psyche. So, diabetes is not a disease that we need to take easily. In fact, it has been mentioned that it has far reaching effects. Once a person has diabetes, he should be very careful. But why not be careful right at the beginning? And what do I mean by the beginning? When I say beginning, what I say is that if it does show some shade in our charts that a person can have diabetes, is it not better to be aware of it and then play carefully? A bird in hand is worth two in the bush. If you are aware, better safe than sorry. So, how do you make out whether you have diabetes in your chart? So, what does diabetes represent, or what are the planets representing diabetes? Let's make them one by one. So, first and foremost, we see Venus. Venus in a chart is all about fluids. It's all about your hormones. Insulin is an hormone that is secreted in your body, and that helps in digestion of this sugar in your body, and if insulin is not produced in proper amount, then it will lead to a lot of sugar in your body not being processed, and it can affect your kidneys. The kidneys which are represented by Jupiter. So those kidneys which will filter the water, which will filter all the liquids moving through your body, will be under an added pressure to work over with this sugar. There's a problem there. And finally, moon, again, which represents a lot of water content in your body. It regulates the lymphatic system in your body, and which is also important when it comes to health and hormones in our body. Now, what do I mean when I say that they are afflicted? See, if there's a presence of 6th or 8th Lord with these planets, then it is kind of recurring diseases that a person will have. We have to understand that the 8th Lord is all about chronic disorders. Okay. And we also see that Rahu causes affliction. Saturn will cause low amount in anything that it works, whereas Rahu can hype things up. So if there are associations of Venus, Jupiter, Moon with Rahu, or affliction due to Saturn, then there can be, because Saturn also represents the 8th house of long drawn problems or chronic disorders. So then it can, in medical astrology, lead you to chronic disorders. Now, classics have a very strong way of describing this. It is known as Pramecha or Madhumecha. So that means that it was a disease that was feared not only today, but it was feared for a long period of time, and finds its mention in Ayurveda in the classics. And that is why Saravali, Brihad Jatak, they have very clearly mentioned as to when a person can have diabetes. Venus plus Saturn combination can give diabetes. Jupiter, which is afflicted, can give by Rahu or Saturn, can give diabetes. Moon plus Venus plus Rahu can give diabetes when there is a strong 2-6 connection. Now, what is a 2-6 connection? The 2nd house represents the food that you eat, and the 6th house represents the diseases that you can have. Your intake will talk about the disease. Jupiter-Venus connection is also a connection that can give you a problem with the diabetes. Okay, because again, Jupiter represents those kidneys, as I said, and when Venus is with it, because Jupiter and Venus again have a 3-8 relationship with each other. So sometimes they can be friends and sometimes they can also give chronic disorders. So let's look into a couple of charts where we know that, where in fact I know that they are diabetic, but I would just share the details with you. In the first chart that I have, the Lagna here is none other than Dhanu Lagna, and you have Rahu sitting right there in the Lagna aspecting the uh, second lord Saturn. Okay, and Saturn is retrograde in the seventh house. In the second house, you find a debilitated Jupiter. When Jupiter is debilitated, the organs that it represents, that will also show certain amount of defect or problems. Okay, that's what medical astrology will tell us. So when you do that, you will also see that then you have to be careful with those organs. Now, what more? In this chart, you see that there is Venus, the sixth lord, sitting with Jupiter in the second house. I told you about the second two connection. I told you about the Jupiter-Venus connection. Both things here work. This person has to take insulin every day because he has a huge diabetic crossover. And then again, the moon is under the influence of Mars. Let's go into the second chart. In the second chart that I see here the Venus. We'll start with Venus. Venus is under the Rahu Ketu axis. It is the 11th lord and it is a Badhakesh. So it can, when it gives a disease, that the disease is most likely to take a long time to get over. And then we see that Jupiter is under the influence of Mars and it is again sitting on the 6-12 axis. It is the sixth lord. And so we find that both Jupiter and Venus are afflicted. Venus highly afflicted, Jupiter slightly afflicted, but being the sixth lord also. Not only that, you would see Moon. Moon is being afflicted by Mars and also by Rahu. So all the three parameters we talked about, Jupiter, Mars and Moon, are under affliction. So there, if a person in such a case eats a lot of sweets, drinks, in this case, the person would have diabetes. This person has diabetes and this diabetes is also hereditary. I believe it is because of the Rahu, which also represents the DNA. So it is also hereditary, and apart from that, the lifestyle, the stress also added on to that disease. Had we been aware that our chart does show these not so happening promises, we would be very careful. So Jyotish also helps you understand what diseases you can face. And once you do that, you can be careful. It's not that the diseases are going to walk out of your chart. No. But then when you're careful, you can very slowly elongate the period till when you can push the disease away. Once it comes, you have to accept it. But till then, we meet you with you again. Have a nice day. Thank you. The bell icon for fresh updates. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on the videos, and please subscribe to our channel.